better come on in and wake up this morning. It's a beautiful day to be empowered. We are here this morning. We are excited and we are operating in the flow. If you don't
In the
know what that
flow.
is, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. But you actually can go
Yes.
back and check it out for yourself. Tune in to yesterday's broadcast when we were talking about the empowered morning, being in the flow. And flow is an acronym that we have. It's faith, leadership, ownership, and wisdom.
Woo! That right there. Okay, y'all have a blessed day. We
I
love
know.
you.
Bye.
I
Drop
believe
the mic.
God.
Look, see
We're
you.
done.
See you. Bye. And let me say this morning, I don't know what to tell y'all, but sometimes it's pressing on us for y'all to even get us because our conversations are so good when we
It's
get
so
together
good.
that sometimes I'm like, oh, it's showtime because
Yes.
oh my God, we got to go talk to the people. But we
It
are
feel
so
us like
good.
we have our own empowered morning
Morning
We
show.
show.
do.
We
Before the
do
We
show.
our
do.
own show behind the stage
Baby.
because
Testimony, prayer, all of it.
I'm telling you, when God brought these three together, He
He knew
had
what he was doing.
like this is so. I'm not knocking nobody else. I'm just saying when God shifted us three together,
Yes.
three different mindsets. Like our minds are totally different. We each one of us carry ourselves different. Each
Mhm.
one of us talk different. But one thing we all have in common is our belief. We
Amen.
believe God. We
Amen.
Absolutely.
believe.
Amen.
Yes.
Period. We believe God, and when we're behind stage and we're just talking about like how God is shifting our minds and how He's shifting our heart, like how we see God doing the work in us, that we might not have it all in our hands, but we see and that's why we can come up on here on 5,000, like immediately on 5,000.
Like a high wattage bulb, baby. You know how you can get the soft light and then you can get that high wattage where it's super
Yes,
bright.
yes.
That's
It
where
is
we are. We are on
so
super bright,
beautiful.
baby. Super bright. Let me go back and say good morning to Miss Phyllis. And let me say, Miss Patricia, I hope you had the most amazing birthday ever yesterday. I hope it was
Yes.
everything for you. Everybody you expected to hear from, whatever it is that God deposited.
And more coming, girl. It's not done
Absolutely.
yet.
Exactly. Like the head swimming blessings. It just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming, right? So
And
we're
coming
glad
and coming
you're
and
here
coming
this
and coming and coming and
morning.
coming.
So as we
Oh,
talked about yesterday, we did talk about getting in the flow. And so that's something that, as we talk about becoming her, flow is going to be automatic. Every day, become the best version of yourself. And that's not a process that's going to stop. You're going to keep growing. You're going to keep changing. You're going to keep shifting. You're going to keep, it's a lot of kaleidoscope. Every time you change, it's got beautiful pictures, but you need to lock in. You keep on twisting it until you can lock in. Well, you're
yeah.
not locking in until you get to Jesus. When God lifts you,
Exactly.
twist to lock in. That's when everything becomes clear. But until then, the kaleidoscope still gives you beautiful colors. It still
It
gives you
does.
shapes that
It's
matches together. Just because we're not there yet doesn't mean that God can't give you abundance because He allowed Jesus to
Amen.
come and give it to you.
Amen.
So
yes.
if you see
You are
that,
so wealthy. Like people don't
yes.
understand the wealth that they really hold. They are looking at wealth only in money.
Yep.
Money is just a part of the clearance. It's just part of what it's just part of life, right? But
Hmm.
wealth is that wealth that you live with inside yourself. That peace that's past all your understanding. Who understand what's going on? And if you sit and try to wreck your brain to try to figure out to get to an understanding, you are now. I will say that is a waste of time. Just
And that
don't.
and that is a richness and a wealth that money can never buy.
It
There's not enough
cannot.
It
money in
can
It
this world
never
to
cannot.
buy it.
buy when somebody says no and you smile and you cheat and you walk away with a grateful heart. Like they just said no.
And you're like, okay.
And
Okay.
you just like, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank
Have a
you.
Yep.
great one. They're like,
And
wait a
people
minute, wait a
can't
minute, wait a minute,
understand
wait a
that
minute. I'm
level.
confused.
That
I'm
is a
confused.
level that you have to get to. And it comes with spending time with God. It comes with knowing who you are, and it comes with knowing whose you
Whose
are.
you
It
are.
comes with knowing who your source is and how you can stay connected to that. It comes with you getting out of your flesh and getting
Mm,
into the flow. So we
Woo.
talked about flow yesterday, baby, because y'all know getting into the flow of God is being in his will.
Hmm.
And when you're in the will of God, it is the safest, most bestest place to be in when you're in his flow, in his will, in what he the alignment that he has for you. That's really the ultimate goal, to get in
yeah.
alignment with God so
To
that you
get
can flow.
into full alignment with God, and
Yes.
in alignment with God, it's not you knowing it.
Mm.
Like
Yeah. You don't know when it's coming.
You don't know anything. Look, you
you
don't know
know
anything. You just
nothing.
trust
He
him.
pulled out the test for you to take the test, and you sit there like, I don't know none of these answers, God.
And he's like,
Like, what you want me to
you're
do?
not
You're
meant
not
to
meant
know
to.
the answers.
But
You
that's
know?
that. But I'm glad we're talking about flesh, because when you have all the answers, check the
Or
source.
you
You
think
think you
you
do.
know all the answers.
Yes, you think you do. But when we talk about flesh, that's what we operate in probably 99.9% of the time. We're operating in flesh. So we broke flesh down. Flesh is F, feelings. We operate in our feelings.
Uh,
Oh, ooh, ooh.
L is
Let's not talk about
limitations.
them feelings, boy.
We operate in
Nobody
our
like
How
that
much
word.
limitations.
time do you
There's
Wait,
that
waste with
there's that F word.
let me give them the whole flesh, and then we're gonna start with feelings. Feelings is the first one. Limitations is the second one. Ego is the third one. Self will, not God's will, self
self
will,
will?
and then habits. That's the flesh. We operated in it daily. We feed the flesh so much that the flesh think it is the bomb.com, baby. The flesh think it's all that and a bag of chips. The flesh said, don't start none, won't
Won't
be
be.
none.
Be
The
none.
flesh says, hey,
That flesh says, I'm starting it, honey. I
baby,
can
the flesh
start the
is a
madness.
big starter, baby. The flesh will
Well,
have you out here.
and the feelings happens to be the first one, right? Feelings is
Yes.
everything. Feelings, we allow our feelings to control. I've been saying it from day one, so I love this. I'm so excited about this conversation because we allow our feelings to dictate and to be the driver in the driver's seat
Yes.
of our
And
lives.
it is like driving life.
Yep.
The
And here you go.
baby, your feelings are in the thing, and this thing we ain't got no seatbelt on. We
No.
driving outside of the
Listen,
speed
you remember
limit.
back in the day they did them Cadillac turns? The feelings
Oh,
like, I'm taking up all the
it's
road.
it's
I'm
Big Willie doing what it do, honey. Listen, let
Yeah.
me tell you something. The feelings
if
will
your
say,
first thought is, I feel like, okay, that's what right there. Right? I just
Fe-
feel like.
let me
Now,
tell you something.
can we be clear though? Because I want to make sure people hear this. We want you to feel. So this isn't a conversation of to not
Not to
feel.
feel.
We want you to feel.
That's
We
why
just don't want.
Natasha's here, baby, to get that thing straight. We want to make sure that
Because that
let's
is
be clear.
relevant. Like
Yep.
that is relevant what
It
you're
is.
feeling,
It is.
Yeah.
so that we can deal with that feeling, so that you can remove that feeling.
hmm Absolutely, because your flesh is all emotional. Your flesh will allow your anger, your fear, your insecurity, your frustration, your jealousy, your disappointment, and even your excitement. Your flesh will
Yep.
take every emotion that comes and pops up and says, baby, we is rolling with it, and we taking it to the 22 22nd power. We're taking it to the 100th power. We're taking it to the
Yes.
1,000th power. See, when you are operating your emotions and you feel some type of way,
When you feeling yourself.
you become irrational.
Yeah, now
Your
you
flesh
feeling
take
yourself.
over, and you are now an irrational
Hmm.
human being, because
Because think
everything that
about it.
makes sense
When
goes out the
somebody
window.
commits murder or something, it's from a feeling. It's a feeling. They didn't just decide Oh, well, sometimes they do just decide I'm gonna go kill whoever. But I'm saying it's from a feeling. Like I'm gonna blow up that building because
I
da
felt
da 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 da.
disrespected. I felt disrespected. I felt unappreciated. I felt like, nobody took me seriously. So you're going to take me seriously today because I'm in
Hey,
my
today
feelings.
you
You're going to
gonna
go and
see
do that.
me. You gonna
Yes.
and I'm gonna let my feelings be shown.
Hmm.
Come on, Natasha.
Well, you said
The
that
light,
on
the
one.
light bulb said,
I
"Bing."
saw it.
Did you
I
see
saw the
it?
glow because she already has a natural glow, right? It's already a natural glow. But when something has went off, it's like another shine
Well,
bright,
you're
shine
not.
bright.
I mean, outside of a sociopath who doesn't have to have feelings to to commit murder, you're spot on with the whole feeling thing. And because we're so not in touch with our feelings, we don't even often even realize that we are doing the things we're doing or behaving the way that we're behaving as a
Right.
result of how we're feeling. Right? A lot of us kind of separate behavior and emotions as if there are two separate things, and they see behavior as, okay, yeah, I learned it, or, oh well, this is just me, this is how I'm used to doing things, but they don't realize that that behavior is attached to how they feel.
Mhm.
So what you're saying makes a lot of sense, and that's why we have a lot of crime. A lot of, and I want to not just touch on the crime piece of it. I also want to talk about what about those that feel and go in isolation.
Yep.
What about those who are
Yeah.
Hmm.
who aren't expressing themselves outward and spend a lot of time in their house? They don't want to leave their house. Or some, a lot of the phobias that people have
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
are a result of these extreme feelings that they have and the inability and the capacity to learn on how to cope with it, that over a prolonged period of time leads to a phobia of not wanting to do this, not wanting to do that. And I think agoraphobia is one of them, where we don't leave our house, right?
Hmm. Right.
So these are just examples. And again, we're just living in a world where we're getting up every day and we're operating, and we're, like you said, we're operating in the flesh, but we're not recognizing how much of that operating from the flesh is rooted in what we're feeling. And I can't not mention that how you feel is tied to what you believe, right?
Mm.
And
So,
Sparkle
Natasha,
talked
let
about
me
that
ask you
earlier.
this because my understanding is you don't really know from a conscious or subconscious level what's real when it comes to your feelings.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
And that's what
mm-mm,
people fail to understand. You know how they tell you, like when you're trying to break a habit or when you're trying to, be positive, whatever. When you start, you got to feel whatever that is so
mm-hmm,
that your body will start getting into the groove or whatever it is that
mm-hmm,
feeling, whatever you're doing. But you can trick yourself to say, oh, this is amazing. It's the energy and it's what you feel. You put all that into that belief, and your body thinks, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. So it doesn't know the difference. That's how
mm-hmm,
powerful your feelings are. That's why your feelings can take over and cause you to do some things because your body thinks, oh, so you're afraid. Oh, this is what it is. Okay, now we're going to fight and flight mode then,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know that the body
I
doesn't know
didn't
it's
know we were
not
supposed to be
danger.
afraid.
It's going off of the feeling of fear that you have, and it takes over. When you're jealous, your body doesn't say, "Girl, you ain't got nothing to be jealous of. Sit on down and be still." It said,
Sis,
"Oh, you
I'm
mad?
jealous.
You jealous? Oh, well, let's go and
Well,
do this."
and that ties to the next one, limitations. And I talk a lot about limiting beliefs. My
Mm-hmm.
feeling is tied to something, a belief that I'm allowing myself to be limited to.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is jealous has a belief system that may be related to, I wish I had what they had, or I'll
Mm-hmm.
never get to be like them, or I won't
Mm-hmm.
have what
Or
they
why
have.
can't I have?
Or why can't I have that? Am I not good enough to have what
Mm-hmm.
they have? How come God didn't give me what he's giving them? So that
Why come God didn't give to me what
yep,
He's given to them?
to them.
Especially when it's some those prayers that you've been praying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a limitation in your mind. That's that
Mm-hmm.
limiting belief that's driving that feeling. Right? So it's not just the feeling. So it's great when you can recognize, okay, I'm fearful and I'm scared. But why am I fearful and why am I scared? You have to go one step further and look at that, because I always say that what you believe to be true will manifest in the way in which you walk,
Yeah.
right? So if I
That's true.
This is when people
Yes,
say
so
that
true.
I love God and I have faith in God, and then you see them behaving in opposition of what they've just said. It's because on an intellectual, logical level, they say they have faith, but their
Mm-hmm.
action, their behavior doesn't align. And you talked about alignment earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
that's what we need to look at. How many of us will? And listen, I always say it all the time. My disclaimer is I'm not telling you anything that I haven't experienced in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
For a really
Mm-hmm.
long time, and reading the Bible and reading the Word and going to church, I was like, yeah, I've got faith. And kind of like Angela, you were saying, I'd say it to like almost convince myself.
Yep.
Yeah, I have faith.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like fake it till you make it,
Yep.
Right.
right? But
Right.
my body didn't know, because while my mind is saying, trust God, have faith, my body is still operating from a place of fear. My
Mm-hmm.
mind is operating from a place of lack. So I'm believing that I don't have. And the more I believe I don't have, it's the more I have fear. And this is operating in my body, but yet my intellectual mind is trying to tell me, oh, don't worry about it. God's got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's called cognitive dissonance. There is there's this disconnection between what you think, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
what you actually believe and feel in the core of who you are as a person. And many of us are not evaluating that. That's why we always say go to therapy and talk to somebody and get honest. We talked about this a few shows back about transparency and honesty.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get honest with ourselves.
Yes.
Somebody hurts you, acknowledge that they hurt you, or you're
Work through that.
ashamed.
We don't work
Work.
through that. And
And
that's
so,
why they
Absolutely.
say go to therapy, because you need to work through those feelings, because your feelings make you think whatever it is that's going on is true.
yeah,
And
because
Hmm.
the
that leads
brain
to the
now believes that.
and
Yep.
that leads to the limitation. If you believe it to be true, then you limit yourself into whatever that belief is. And that's
Correct.
why you're
Correct.
in your flesh, because you
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
didn't let the intellectual mindset, you didn't let your spiritual self take reign and take control. You didn't get into the flow, you got into
The
the
flesh.
flesh.
Feelings.
And that spiritual perspective, I'm going to use your word you used it this morning, and I love it. The spiritual perspective is expansive. I
Mm-hmm.
need everybody to think about, when you think of God, you think expansion. You
Mm-hmm.
think all, you think everything, you think
Mm-hmm.
universal, right? So we have to, as human beings, yes, we're made up with this logical mind and this emotional mind, but there's also the spiritual component. There's a spiritual, the spiritual piece for me is the key component to me functioning as a human being,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And we tend to make that our last priority, not our top priority.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you shifted from your intellectual, logical flesh mind and allowed yourself into the spiritual mind,
Come on,
You
spirit.
said a word though.
what's that?
Allow.
Oh, allow. Yes.
Because you have to allow it.
And
Because
oftentimes we
when
don't
you
want
have
to.
lived in that
Because we like to be in control. The
yes,
reality
you
is,
have to
when
have
you don't
submission.
allow, you want to be in control. And the reason why it's so hard to shift to the spirit taking over is because you have to release control.
Mm,
And you
hmm.
have to come to a surrender. I don't want no control, God. Yeah, like,
Take
like,
it. Take
When
it.
you
I'm
are
done.
in the flow, your flesh says, I don't see how this is going to work. But your
yeah.
spiritual person says, but I trust the one who does. I don't
Yes,
have all the
that is
answers.
so ironic that we're saying this because this morning on my piece of paper, I said my prayer and then I did a line and said God's promises, God's
Mm,
way of thinking, because
mhm.
I'm working on expanding my prayer life of not just praying for a career, but praying for God to elevate it. His career, what he sees for my career
His
is
purpose for
totally
you.
different
Right.
from what
Right.
I see. So
Because
it's
yours is going
really
to be much
crossing that.
smaller.
Yeah,
Yours is
because
going to be
I'm gonna go
smaller.
small.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go small every time.
Mhm.
Facts.
Not because I want little, but this mind hasn't been expanded, and my
Right.
prayer hasn't been to that
And you haven't
expansion
seen it.
level.
You know
Yeah,
what?
so
And that's why they say
you
it's
limit
important.
yourself.
You limit it because
Exactly. That's why
I
they say it's
haven't got
important
to
to get
the
around
rubber
stuff.
band where the rubber band stretched out to
Yes.
whatever capacity that we need to
Hmm.
get it to.
But you're not around. But when you don't see rubber band all day, all the time. And to be
Yeah.
honest with you, stretch it till the rubber band pops, because it's
Yes.
because you really don't even want to be contained in what the, even though you stretch, you're still operating in a lesser environment than what God has for you. Because
Mm-hmm.
once the rubber band pops, there's nothing holding it back.
It's unstoppable. You want to
It's
talk about
unstoppable.
unstoppable and
You want to talk
unshakable?
about
Unshakable, unstoppable,
unbreakable?
unmovable. Absolutely. That
That's
it's like steam. It's like putting water in a tea kettle and putting the heat on. And what happens? The water starts boiling. Before you know it, boom! It comes out as steam, because now it can no
and
longer stay in
flavor.
that.
Yeah, go
Exactly.
ahead. You're right. Finish that analogy. I like that analogy.
Yes.
It can no longer stay in the kettle,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so now that steam magnifies itself and
Mm-hmm.
it gets to go
It
anywhere and everywhere.
transforms. It
Correct.
transforms from the original state of water, and it now becomes another state. It's more
Right.
expansive because the steam allows it to transcend what's inside the pot. The
Mhm.
And
steam
then it'll
says,
start
I got to
bubbling
get out of here.
over.
It is the
Like,
renewing of your mind. You have to get out of the container that you have, which is your flesh, because your spirit man is all over the place. Your spirit is like air, it's everywhere.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But you can't conceive that when all you've ever seen is the inside of the tea kettle.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. And you
Because
have
you
to be
still
in
sit
tune.
there.
You have to be in tune with that spirit and connect with that spirit every day so you
Mm-hmm.
can learn on how to be expansive and how to think. I always say, think outside the box,
Mm-hmm.
right? That has to happen on a daily basis. You don't just do it on a Sunday. You don't just do Bible study on a Tuesday or whatever that might look like
Right,
for you.
right.
It is a constant connection with that inner spirit on a daily basis so you can grow to get accustomed to coming out. I love your analogy of living outside of the kettle,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
right? And those are also something so I do a lot of energy work right now with my healer. And one of the things I'm learning about is how to emotionalize, allow myself to experience positive emotion.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Most because of dysfunction, chaos, and trauma in my life, I'm used to holding on to, like a tea kettle, I'm
Mm-hmm.
used to holding on to those unwanted emotions. Well, now when I experience the goodness of God and the vastness and expansion of God, it's learning on how to allow that peace to settle in, allow that
Mhm.
joy to settle in.
Again, we're going to say that
Again,
word again.
allow.
Allow, allow. Because when you sitting up there looking at stars, like, you got to allow your, like, because looking at, like, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting there looking at the stars? But you have to allow your
Yep.
mind to go
Yep.
past, oh, I look crazy. What if somebody's watching me? Like, you have to allow your mind and you to go past what
What
people
you can
think,
see and what you
What
can
what
you
see.
can
people
see
see,
and understand is
how their
more.
perspective of, like, you have to get away from
Hmm.
that.
Yes. And when you're looking at the stars, it's dark and it's vast and you see so many stars. But what you have to understand is, even with what you can see, there's still more.
There's still much
There's
more than
There's
that.
still
still
more.
more.
And even yesterday we talked about, the sun, right? And somebody might say, well, where's the sun when it's a cloudy day? Well, in reality, if you've never been in a plane will fly above the clouds, and above the clouds, guess what's
The
going
sun.
on? The
It's the
sun is
sun.
shining.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
why I love
viewpoint
to
of where
fly.
you are.
Yeah.
When you look at circumstance, you think, oh, it's a cloudy day. Well, I mean, we see a cloudy day, but in reality, it's shining everywhere God is. The sun is
It's a
beaming and bright
shine.
everywhere in the heavens, in the heavenly realm. It's sunshine and all of that going on.
And let's
So
face it, we need cloudy days.
we do.
But
We
it's
do.
how
God
you,
doesn't have to have it, because
yes.
it was so
But
much. The world was operating without any rain, without any
yeah.
water, without anything for a long time before
Hmm.
God introduced that, because
So
He
what
doesn't
you're
have to have it.
so what you're describing is the scripture of walk by faith, not by sight,
Yes, yes,
right? When
yes.
we get caught up in just leaning into what is in front of us, right? So
Mhm.
coming back, I'm going to use myself as the example of when I look at my banking account, when I look at my life, I'm constantly looking at what I don't have. I'm looking at the lack, and I get caught in, I don't have this, I don't have that, I need this,
Mhm.
I need that. But what you're saying is, and how I'm understanding that is, I have to look beyond what I can't see. I have to
Correct.
look beyond and knowing that God has so much more greater in store for me. So much, there's so much more. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to know what that more is. I
You do
just have
not.
to trust him enough and understand him enough, right, through his word, that, whatever that more is, I kind of use the screen. It literally is right on the other side.
Yeah.
It's not like it's out
Mm-hmm.
of reach. It's not like
Yeah.
it's something that
Right.
I got to go chasing it, or I got to go, like, inspect, like a, like an investigator and trying to find it. It's
Right.
literally, it's right there for the taking, but I can't see it. And our flesh, when we stay in the flesh and not operate in the spirit, that in itself just limits us from being able to look beyond our natural, our current state.
Absolutely. Because what if everything you want is right there?
Right there.
Literally right there.
Literally right there.
And I
It's
really
close enough
believe
for you
that
to
if
touch
it's
it.
right there.
But our flesh has created the barrier where we can't understand that everything that you want, this is air that I'm pushing through. And
Hmm.
in my finite mind, all I see is, okay, well, I'm pushing my hand closer to the computer. But if I'm in a spiritual realm, I'm understanding that God is not limited by what I'm limited by.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
that's my
He's
limit.
not limited by the space and the air and all that. God has transcended because he created all that. So he can shift in between things.
Yeah.
If I need to get to where Sparkle is, I either have to get in a car and drive there. If I want to get to where Natasha is, I can drive, but it's better for me to fly because I can get there quicker. I have to take those methods. God doesn't have to do any of those things.
Yeah.
Hmm.
None
God's
of it.
already there. He's already
I mean,
transcended. But
his
until
jet is
you
just sitting right there. Like what? Like what I need to jet to. But that's where he wants us to get to. Like that's the mind of him. To have the mind of him, you have to get your stretch you from you. Like the
Yes.
problem is you. Like
The problem, the problem is, and the next part of the flesh is the ego.
it's
Ooh.
The
the
ego is what
Ooh.
doesn't allow. You keep saying, you're referencing allow. The ego won't allow you to do
yes.
certain
Why you
things
think it has
because
go in it?
the,
Like it's
the
a
ego,
reason why
look,
go is sitting right there. Like, come on, let's go. Like,
the ego is saying we running things, we got this. Oh, the ego is saying, baby, you can't tell me what you gonna do. Nuck if we buck.
yes, we always ready to knock if you buck. Like that ego say, do this. Like if your ego is telling you to knock somebody out, really, is that? Think about it. like just process that. But the ego is so quick to rise and it's so quick to realize it, like it's been in control for so long that it just goes.
The ego is like a 2 year old or a little small child that throws
Wait
a
a minute,
tantrum
what you
because they
say,
can't get what
Natasha?
they
A
want.
2-year-old is just
I thought about that. I said maybe I'm gonna say the terrible twos because
no,
Natasha told us to
because she
control.
put us in.
But the ego
Well,
is acting out as a child who wants what it wants. The ego can make us defensive when somebody tries to correct you in love. The ego can make you offended when it feels like, so you see me over here, but you ain't gonna say nothing. Oh, now you out here making rash decisions, talking crazy, doing things you wouldn't ordinarily do because you got to show them I can show you better than I can tell you, and that can lead you into a lot of places that you really don't want to be in.
yeah, so what's coming to mind for me is that, so ego helps with the self-worth and self-esteem, but I like it because I'd never sort of saw it this way before. So I like when Sparkle says that the word go is an ego.
Mm-hmm.
And so while ego is designed for you to have that self-worth and that self-confidence, we keep going
Mm-hmm.
and take the ego too far, to where now we use that as a weapon against,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be ourselves or a weapon against somebody else. So I almost feel like the ego gets a little bit of a bad rap. So that's why I like to talk about ego versus inflated ego,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that the ego is necessary, because without ego in the way that we're designed, that's where you get people that are very self-loathing and lack that confidence, lack that self-esteem. but then we take it, we push it to the limit. We don't, or take it beyond the limits, I should say. So I believe that we have this ego, but it needs to be nurtured by
Oh,
God,
absolutely.
right?
You
We
have to
need to
nurture that
we
thing.
need to take that ego to God and allow God to be allow the creator to teach us on when and where to utilize that ego, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I need to be able to be humble before the Lord. And in order to do that, I have to be willing to acknowledge and accept that I'm not the end all be all and that He is greater than me. But when my ego is inflated, when my ego has gone beyond its natural state of being, um, you know, our flesh tends to forget who's really in charge.
Yeah.
And so we have this false belief that somehow we're all of a sudden now the creator.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of that's happening on a subconscious level. It's not
Mhm.
happening on, on your conscious mind. So
Because
It's
some people
almost
think,
like,
"Oh, that's not me. I'm not. I know God is in control." However, you say that, but
but you're still,
you're still trying to prove
yep,
yourself to people who aren't even supposed to be in your realm of consciousness to
come
even be
on
worried
now.
about. We're
Yeah.
worried about being validated by someone who's not even thinking about you.
yeah. It's
Hmm.
almost like it made me think about when I'm God's favorite daughter. I wish you would mess with me. Don't come messing with me. Okay. So, how are you using this God's favorite daughter? Are you using this as your weapon to the world to let them know you better not touch me? Because ego is me, that God's favorite daughter is supposed to just stay in the love realm. It's in the love of the connection of it, but it's not to use it for, oh, I got my gunshots now. Like, I'm gonna shoot
Correct.
you down.
Correct.
Right.
That's
Correct.
the control of ego. Control
Mhm.
the ego of it, because anything you overdo, now you're not utilizing it for what it is.
For what
Yes,
it's
God
designed to
wants
do.
us to have an ego,
Exactly.
but when you take it out of content, now you took it out of content.
Correct.
And you
Correct.
know
No,
what?
that's a great
I'm glad you
analogy.
broke that down. Yes, it's a great analogy because the reality is when you use God's favorite daughter as a point to prove something to somebody, that's when you're operating ego.
Yeah,
When you use it to position yourself to say that I am God's favorite daughter, I'm positioning myself for every good thing He has for me because He loves me like that. That is a whole different thing because
that's
you're
a
positioning
whole
yourself
different
for
position.
purpose, not for trying to prove yourself to somebody. You're not
Yeah.
trying to say, you know how kids be like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's like, yes.
that's the wrong way to take advantage of doing that.
Yeah,
But we're not here for that. You got to be in the flow and say that it's not about me proving myself to anybody. It's me positioning myself to
it's
be
a
in God's will.
position
And
of
as
his
long as you
love and how I see him.
continue to use your ego as a way to weaponize or a way to seem bigger, better, to prove a point, whatever you may be using it for, that's where you stay in your self-will, and it makes it harder to surrender, right? It makes it harder for
That's
you
good,
to truly
Natasha.
let go and allow God to work in your life, because you're using your ego as, it becomes your shield. It becomes the thing that protects you, so to speak.
Mhm.
But it's like, I don't need my ego to protect me because I got God who's going to protect me,
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
and I don't have to tell you. You don't. I mean, a guy don't play about me. Yes, that's true. But when you're using that as, don't you come over here as soon as you do me wrong. God don't play
God's got
about
you.
me.
Yeah.
Like,
That's not how that's supposed to be used.
but you know
Absolutely.
us, because of the flesh that lives inside of us.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. That's the F around and find out.
Yeah,
You, it's not really necessary. I mean, God is going to do what God is going to do, but
God is
when
going
God
to
is
do.
to
And think
operate in
about it.
your flesh.
Yeah, you don't like. Well, some people might really. You don't want everybody that wrongdo you to blow up, like as soon like you done me wrong, boom. Because if you're doing that, remember you still aren't there yet. You haven't arrived either.
You are not. I mean, because you've allowed your feelings to limit you, your ego to take over for you, And then your self will gets into the place where it says, I want what I want when I want it, and I'm
And
gonna do it
however
when I
I
want to do
want
it.
it.
Yeah,
And
because you want the revenge, but that's not your revenge to get, right?
No.
You want that person to be punished. That's not our call. And that's
And
what
that
a lot
is
of us
that
fail to
is
realize.
self. That is self out here running amok.
yeah, but
Mhm.
let's go back. We say that we're God's children, and God only, God, you have to get permission to do something to us, to touch us. So if you believe that, and you believe that they had to get God's permission to even be in your presence, and something don't work out, now are you saying, God, you had your ego going on, and you said like, you got to think about this and really process this. If you believe that my God protects me, covers me, and will not put no harm and danger of me, if you really believe that, and that somebody did you wrong, are you telling God he's wrong? Because
Well,
wrong teaches you lessons.
so inflated ego drives behaviors slash habits like stubbornness
Mm-hmm.
and pride and resistance and guardedness. It keeps you, and we were talking about something before the show started about how the enemy likes to keep you separate from God, right? And likes to isolate you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's ideally what your ego will do. Your ego puts you sort of on an island by yourself where you're operating and trying to figure it out on your own. And over time, you become jaded, you become stubborn, you become guarded, you become resistant, you pick and choose and want to dictate when, where, how, right? And
Mm-hmm.
again, and then as that inflates the ego over time, it just makes it, we formulate these habits, we create these, or we learn these behaviors that become even much more difficult for us to be able to break those habits and or to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many people will talk so much about how much they love God and how much they know God and this, that, and the other. And then you look at something that's going on personally in their lives and they're like, well, I ain't doing that. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean you're not doing that? Right? If God wants you to do that, you're going to do that. You do realize that, right?
That's
It's
self
just,
will, and that you want it to be your plan, not
yep.
Correct.
God's plan.
And the way you want it to
You're
happen.
rolling with God as long as He's going to where you want Him to go. You know how you tell somebody drive me and take me. You're getting into an Uber or Lyft and saying, okay, yes, take me here. As long as they're taking you where you want to go, you're fine.
Everything's good.
As
They
soon as
tip
they
is
go in a
going
different
up.
direction, yes, you want what you want, and it makes me feel like, or it makes me think about Scarface. Y'all remember when Tony
Oh yeah.
Montana says, "The world is mine," but look at what he lost as a result
Trying to get
of
this world.
He
trying
lost
to do
himself.
it. He lost a lot,
Yeah.
and because you get to the place where, okay, I'm doing it my way. I'm doing what I want to do, baby. You can't stop me. You can't do this and the third. It's all about me. Yes, over here, boo. I am that girl. You all that until you look around and realize that where's everybody at? Because
Mm.
everything that you were doing alienated, pushed away, and kept people in a space where they didn't want to be bothered with how you have become. You
Hmm.
They,
became something grander in your mind because you thought. And God will leave you to your own. Hey, have
Yes, he
at it.
will.
Let you look.
Yes, he will.
You
oh
got
my
it.
gosh, won't he leave you?
You got it. Oh, okay then. Hey, hey.
I'm gonna go help somebody who will allow me to help them.
Who will do what? Allow me
Wow.
to.
Look,
Like,
See you
don't think
later.
God will say, "Oh, so you want the wheel? You want to you want to drive the train." See, in your mind, you want to drive the train when you really are only capable of driving the car.
And
you
then we
only
get
capable.
mad.
You
That's what
And
you're
only
only
have
capable of driving the
license.
car,
and
but
then
you
we
want
get
to.
then we get mad when we crash the train because we don't really know how to drive the train, but we want to, ego says that we
But
can and we will,
and
right?
then we blame God. Like,
Mhm.
Yep. It's
God,
his
it's
fault.
your fault.
We pray God order my steps, but then we get mad when He orders us somewhere that we didn't want to go. Then we know, well, God, why you put me over here? Because
Come
this is
on
not what
now.
I asked for.
Because
Come on
the
now.
one
I didn't ask for
thing,
this.
the one thing that we don't want to do is go through anything.
We
Hmm.
don't.
We don't want to go through. We want
Or hear no. If that
oh
no
no,
doesn't align with what we want,
not
that's a
even
whole
not
other problem.
yet. Like,
Yeah.
We don't even like not yet. Like if it's not yes,
Yes, Miss Patricia said the word for today is
is
allow.
allow. It
Release the
really
control.
is.
Release the control and let your flesh get into the flow.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's where I want to go back. If you going through something, allow yourself to go through it.
Yeah.
God, okay. Like you doing all that fighting back and forth. Why me, God? Why do I have to do this? Why I have to? You still gonna have to do it. So
Yeah.
Because
Most
that's how little
definitely.
kids do. But why? But why? But why? But why?
Because
sis,
I
we
said
have our
so.
limitations. Okay, God, I've been doing this for a long time. Now your time is up, God. Like we're back to our ego is back to telling him, this is too long. I've been going through this too long. I've been figuring this out too long.
Mhm.
We go back to, and he's like, but what? What? I thought you said.
I
I,
was told once that when I complain, it's my way of letting God know that I'm not satisfied with the way that He's handling my life. And I was like,
Mm.
yikes. I was like, oh, that
And you know
hurts just
what?
a
The
little
thing
bit.
about it is, until somebody says something like that, and you realize, wow, that's very ungrateful.
Mhm.
Until
very
somebody
ungrateful.
checks you in that manner, you have ran out here and said it's my way or the
The
highway.
highway.
Yep.
Yep.
And God
Yep.
is saying, but I created you in the highway. So really, how is it
And
yours?
I could take it away if I
And
wanted to.
because it's all mine. It's all
Suddenly,
his. Right?
we talk about the suddenlies. Suddenly, God, suddenly this happened, and suddenly, God.
Suddenly.
But what about the suddenly breaks? When he hit them brakes, and that suddenly hit the
Baby.
brakes,
And you shoot through the windshield and you just
and
like,
you
oh,
shoot through that
oh,
windshield.
what?
Or you suddenly get hit with an airbag in your face, and although that hurt, He protected you and saved your life.
Yes.
Right? We
Or
think I use
or
breakups all
he
the
could have
time.
been gone in the wreck. You, if he wouldn't have stopped, and that airbag came out, you know what kind of situation this would have been?
Listen, I think back to 16 years ago when I attempted suicide. There was nobody around, and God so wanted me to realize who He was and how powerful and mighty He was, that He was the only thing that got me to wake up. No one woke me up. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? What's interesting as we talk about this, everything that you guys talked about on the show today, that was me before that suicide attempt. Why
Wow.
did I attempt that suicide? Because I was the goddess of my world. I ruled the world, and I got to a point that I had lost everything, and I'm like, well, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
what to do now, right? And so
So
I wanted to tap out.
You was Tanya Montana and not Tony. You was Tanya. Gotcha. The world was yours, God.
Yes,
And
and then I got
everybody
to
had
that.
to revolve around it.
They
Yeah.
did, and I lost as much as I gained within 6 months. Everything that I had worked years, decades for, I literally lost. It was like one domino fell, and it knocked down every other domino in my life. By that point, I was so exhausted. I didn't even know how to get back up. I didn't even know where to start. I didn't even know what to do. You lose a husband, you lose, again, my identity. Everything we've talked about in this show, my identity was wrapped up into everybody else. My worth and me being chosen and seen and validated and all the things was
Mm-hmm.
wrapped up into that life. And when I look back today, I was like, I was brought to my knees, and that was a moment of surrender for me. When I came out of that suicide attempt, it was like I remembered crying on my bed saying, okay, I don't even know who you are, God, but they say that you're real, and I need you to prove it to me because I am
What you say?
done.
They say they.
Yes, they said.
They say.
I'm being very candid and very transparent. I mean, I grew
That
up
is
knowing about
But
God.
that's putting you in the flow. When you surrender the very
when you
thing that you've been trying to
surrender.
force,
Yep.
that is getting yourself into the flow because now you're allowing God. You saying, hey,
I'm done. I was exhausted. I was like, okay, I will do whatever, whenever, however you need me to.
Yes.
And it was in that moment, was in 2009, I came back to South Florida, and I got sober in 2010, a year later. he was trying to get me sober in 2009, but I was still not having it, right? Because he saved my life, and I
You
was
was
just like,
You,
let
you,
me
was
let.
you was Tanya then, right? That look, what you
I
said,
was still.
Tanya was one of the things
No,
then.
I love that now you can laugh about it.
Oh my God,
Now
yes.
you can glorify
When
it.
when you recognize how crazy it was for you to think that you were ever in control of
That you was
anything,
ever in control. Like,
because you
I don't know
I
if you was in your
listen.
cartoon world. Did you watch too
Some
many
days,
cartoons or
some
what?
days I
she
laugh
was
to the
mighty
point.
girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm mighty girl. You can't mess with me. I got this.
To the point that today I not only laugh, but sometimes laugh so hard I end up in tears, and I just look up to God and I go, "I am so sorry."
But that's the healed. That's the healed version
Yes.
that you can sit back and say, God, this is hilarious. Like,
And
was
His
I the
I
patience.
see you
comedian
looking at
at
me
the
like
time?
really? Because we do our kids like that. You know, you look at your kids and they come back and say, well, you know what? Now I get what you were trying to tell me. And you just
Yep.
like, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
and
God is
you
with
know,
me.
Yeah.
like you,
Right.
I told you so. Like, okay, just because you was trying to tell me doesn't mean that I was at the place in the position to hear what you're trying to say. Because sometimes when you in that flesh, you don't even hear what
No,
nobody else, like,
no,
You don't. You know why?
you don't
Because we
receive.
have those are habits that we have, because that's what the H is for. Habits. When you operate in your flesh, you just say it is. That's just who I am, but it's not really who you are. It's
Yeah,
what you have done. It's what you have. It's the old patterns that you're used to. It's the
yeah,
old reactions that you're used to. It's the old
yeah,
relationships, or the old mindsets, or the old way that you cope with things.
yep,
But flow says, I don't have to keep repeating what God is trying to transform. I
mm,
need to renew my mind so that I'm in the will of Him, so that I can be in the flow, not in my flesh. Because the flesh
yeah,
will keep you in the old habits. The flesh will keep you where it's comfortable because it doesn't want to be stretched and pulled. It doesn't want to elevate and dominate. It wants to stay right where it's at, acting a straight donkey, thinking that it's doing something. And it's not. We got to
yes.
make sure we understand that, break those habits,
Break
to
those habits.
surrender
And
so
I'm
that
telling
you
you,
can get
one of
out
my
of the
big
flesh.
habits was one of my famous words. It is what it is.
It
Well, it
is
is
what it
what it
is.
is. Guess what kept on happening in my life?
Is
is.
Is is just kept on operating because it said, my brain said, and my heart said, we on the is. We
it
stand on the
is
is.
took a residency and said, I ain't going nowhere. I'm here to
It
stay.
is what it is.
You
Okay.
invited me, and so that's just how it is.
And and when you have invited that habit into your life, it now you have to put that habit out. You have, like, you cannot continue, but like, well, I can still live with it. I mean, it can still
Mm-mm.
hang around.
It leaves you
We
divided. It leaves
Yeah,
you as a person divided, one foot in the flesh and one foot in the spirit. You cannot truly serve and you cannot truly receive all the vastness of God's goodness when you're still operating in your flesh, even if it's 50% of the time. Right.
Exactly.
And that's us. We
Exactly.
want to pick and choose, how we use God like he's some kind of tool, right?
Like,
Or that magic,
let it
yeah,
go. When you say, "Here you go, God," listen, I
right?
trust you. I trust you, God, but I
But
trust my feelings.
now,
yeah,
now
but
what
I
you
won't
gonna
do
do,
that.
God? They said trust you. Now I'm here. I trust you. Now
Well,
what
and
you gonna do?
something that I'm learning in this season or in this era of my life is, so for those who can say, well, yeah, I listen to God, or you're waiting on God. How are you waiting?
Yeah,
So a lot of us can, and I know myself of the past, I'd be waiting, but I'd still be stressing. I wouldn't sleep at
still
night,
complaining.
still complaining, right? And today when I'm waiting with peace. I'm waiting with joy. I'm waiting with fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
I have this thing that I say that my heart is patient because my soul knows,
Cause
right?
that's
My
good.
soul knows what God is doing for me, what he's done before, what he's doing now, what he will forever to do till he calls me home. So my heart is patient. And it took me
Mm-hmm.
a while to get there because
Mm.
a lot of times when we know something,
My
coming back
heart
to,
is patient. That
right,
now that
we want what we want
That's
when we
a
want it.
beautiful place. That's a
that's
beautiful place to
my
be in.
heart is patient. And
Hmm.
I congratulate you because that's where we all need to be. Like in the patience. Can you imagine what you're
There's
doing to your
power in the
yeah,
patient.
you know what you're doing to your heartbeat because you're patiently in your heart. Your heart is saying, I don't have to over exterminate. I don't
Nope.
have to overbeat because
Yeah. I don't have to overextend. I don't have to overfunction. I don't have to do anything. My soul knows who God is and what God, again, what He's done. I'm constantly being reminded of, what He's done in my life before, what He's doing right now, and why would He not do it again? Why would He not do
Absolutely.
it again? And I
Because
think,
any other way of operating is when we talk about the body and being in disease, right? When your soul is in disease, that means that you're worrying, you're stressed, and you're overwhelmed. But when you
yeah.
are healthy and healed, then your heart can be patient. It doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be erratically beating.
Mm.
You don't have to
That's
have
so
all these
good.
palpitations and things like that because your heart is saying, we're in a calm space when the Lord God, when Jesus said, peace be still to the
yep.
wind and the water. Peace,
That is
and
peace.
so good.
we have a hard time doing that. I mean, and I've been
Yes.
there. I'm saying that I'm waiting, but I can't sleep at night. I'm not eating. I'm still worrying. I'm still trying to
Right.
plan and strategize in your mind, and you're like, okay, well, that's not being patient. Again,
Mm-hmm.
we're saying we're patient, but emotionally we are in a different place that's driving us to do other things, and that's where the will comes into play. Because while my logical mind says I'm going to wait on God, because I'm not dealing with my emotional self, now that's going to cause me to strategize. That's going to cause me to
Mm-hmm.
plan. That's going to cause me to not do
It's
this.
good for
And
Rika, patience over panic.
yep,
Yes.
Because we do.
Because we probably all have, I know I have had panic attacks. And when
yeah,
you
oh
have
yeah,
a panic attack, it takes that panic takes over. Like you really feel like
paralyzing.
Mhm.
I'm having a heart attack because that panic just
And your
over.
body doesn't know the difference because
Yeah,
they say that most people think it's a heart attack when it really was just a panic attack.
yeah.
Yep.
It's the same level of
Your
stress
nervous
and
system,
anxiety on the body.
correct.
Exactly.
Your nervous system is dysregulated. And so
Hmm.
when you're learning on how to practice patience, when you're learning to walk in faith, when you're learning to actually demonstrate what your trust in God looks like over a process and a period of time, that in itself regulates your nervous system. And so there
Mm-hmm.
is no panic. I used to suffer with panic attacks and anxiety. I used to take medication for that and for depression. And today I don't have to because of the way that I eat, being outside. There's a lot of holistic things that I'm doing in my life to be able to replenish my body. And again,
Right.
that
Yeah.
spiritual peace is the center of everything. If I'm
It's
not,
And
if
I'm glad you said that about peace. And Tamisha said, it's so challenging. I have to reset every day, all day, and remember where I am, where He brought me, and where He continues to
yes,
take me.
ma'am,
And say,
yes,
yes.
thank
ma'am,
But
you,
the
Lord,
beautiful
to
part
stay at
of what
peace.
she just said is that now she notices, she acknowledges it,
where
she
Mhm.
acknowledges it, and she don't let it just sit there and play with her mind, her heart. I acknowledge, whoo,
But
stop.
awareness is key. If you're
Yeah,
not aware, you're going to keep doing the same things over and over again.
I'm telling
absolutely.
you.
And the
When
thing
you said
about
the
it is,
holistic, go ahead, Angela.
in the flow piece of it, that's the wisdom because you apply
Hmm.
what you learn. That is being in the flow. You take what you learn about yourself, that wisdom, and you apply it. Versus being in your flesh, you allow the habits that you've accumulated
Yeah,
to repeat over and over. You know how they talk about planes and they are circling around waiting to land. They're in a holding pattern. They're just circling around
Yeah,
waiting for
looking
somebody
where
to
to
say
land
give them
and
clearance
not gonna
in
land
order to
until
land.
they have a
Exactly.
place
They
to
can't
land.
land until they're given clearance, but they're in a holding pattern. Your habits will keep you there until your wisdom helps you to see the difference and then
facts,
you apply what
facts.
you learn.
That is so facts. I'm telling you. And when you get in the flow, I'm just warning you. You gonna start doing stuff that you never thought you was gonna do. You'll
Yep.
have you a picnic in the back of your yard. I'm telling you, like the things that I do now is crazy to me. Like I would have recorded somebody and put them on a video to laugh at them. Cause look at that crazy woman out there.
Not crazy. It almost seems unreal some days.
It, my meditation today was unreal. Like I'm for real, unreal. Like I was floating in
Wow.
the sky.
But
I was
it's foreign
literally.
to people to see someone because you see people melt down, break down, but rarely do you see people who are completely surrendered.
Yeah.
As much as we want to say we're Christians and we love God and believe God, a total surrender is almost a foreign thing to most people because you've never seen someone totally release and give it up.
Hmm.
Because we feel like I got to hold on to a little something for me.
Again, I gotta look the part, or well, because I'm a Christian, or because I'm a believer of God, I need to look this way and do this way and
Yeah.
behave this way. And it's like, no, just be you. That's why my program that I have for women is all about authenticity. We are not we are not living in our authentic selves. Many of
Amen.
us are still living to prove a point. We're still living to please others. Well, the minute you ask yourself, well, what might somebody say about me, or what is someone going to think, or whatever,
That's
Mm-hmm.
and you're
good
thinking
right there,
outside of
Natasha.
yourself, right? That should be a red flag for you that you are
Mhm.
not being authentic. You are not
Mm-hmm.
true to you,
Right.
and that's what
Mm-hmm.
You
God
can
wants from
when
us
you
at the
can
end of the
picture
day.
someone else and say, "Oh, I bet you when I do this, I bet you, I wonder what such and such is gonna say."
What you gonna
Yeah.
do then?
When you think that that person has control over you,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
when
Yep.
you
You
are
give
in a
away your power.
situation where maybe you've gotten a divorce and really wasn't what you wanted, but things didn't work out and it's irreconcilable differences, right? But you move through life and you say, "Oh, I bet you, I bet if he could see me now and see
Hmm.
how I'm, he still has control." Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
you're
still
still
has
allowing
Yeah.
control.
something
When you.
outside of yourself,
Yeah.
right, to
Right.
dictate what what you think about yourself. It's
how
still
you
it's
how you move, how you do
correct.
things. Oh, I'm gonna give me a 5 bedroom house. We had a 4 bedroom, but I'm gonna give me a five
I'm
or
gonna give
six.
me a.
I'm gonna show
I've
him
been
I
there.
can do
I've
better.
been
I
there.
can do better than what I did with you. I can do better. It's
I've been
proving you're
there.
consistently proving something to someone else that really does not matter. When you are in the flesh, you react to things. When
You.
you are in the flow, you respond to
Yep.
things. When you're in the flesh, you force things to happen. When you're in the flow, you follow God's leading. When you're in your flesh, you want control, baby. But when you're
you
in the
you want
flesh,
it
when you're in the
all.
flow, flow requires surrender. That means to say that God, I'm going to allow you to take it over because really and truly, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Really and truly, I thought I had all this going on, but really I have zero going on without you.
I know.
I
And
don't have
there's
anything
freedom,
going on.
and there's freedom in that. For me, there's freedom in saying, you know what, God, I don't got this. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I know you do. And I know that you're going to reveal it
Yes.
to me. Like there is a level of freedom, emotional freedom for me when I acknowledge that I am powerless. And I think we grew up in this society and in our cultures believing that being powerless is a bad thing. For me, I have no problem
Yeah.
today to admit that I'm powerless over something that I can't fix, manage, or control it, and nor do
Hmm.
I want to, because I have a God that's greater than me that I serve that will take care of it for me. So
Yeah.
there's so much more
It's a
peace
different.
that comes to
It
that.
It
is
is.
because when you're in your flesh, you think everything is led by me. When
Yeah.
you're in the flow, everything is led by God.
Yeah.
Your flesh wants control, but your flow is going to require you to trust God at all times in all things. Your flesh wants it now, but your flow says,
Yeah.
God, not my will, but your will be done. It's
Yeah.
your timing. And my heart, like Natasha said, is patient. Your flesh says, I got this, but baby, when you get in the flow, you just say, God, guide me, lead
Yeah.
me, take me wherever you want me to go. And that's where we're trying
Yeah.
to get into from the flesh to the flow.
Flow.
Yes. Because when I think about flow, when I just look at the word at flow, is fall low. Fall low. Because get down low. Like let
Yeah.
God be your covering. It's a tornado, whatever. They told us to get low. And then the flesh makes
Yes,
me
yes.
think of a leash. It has a leash on me. It's holding me in this position So I have to get low so I won't get that leash. I'm not, no, I don't want no leash on me.
I
But when
cannot be
you think,
controlled.
we have to start thinking past just this so that we can get the full understanding. Because believe in God, it removes everything that you thought and how you planned it out. Is believing God for your life.
Facts.
Everything about, and that's
Point
where
blank
we have
period.
been season after season. We keep saying, I believe God. But when you believe in God, He's gonna keep on pouring more belief. Like, okay,
And you move different, right? When you believe
yes.
in God, you move different.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you and we're gonna wrap it up because it's time, of course.
Yeah,
But the reality is, you have a choice.
I love it.
God is a gentleman. He gives you a choice. You can choose to stay in your flesh, or you
On
can
that
choose to
leash.
operate in the flow.
Yep.
And hey,
Facts.
being in the will of God is the best place to be. Choose to flow with Him versus being in that flesh.
Yep.
We got to get
Uh,
out of here.
on this Wednesday, what are you allowing? What do you allow? Because
Yes,
that was, we have already said that's our word for the day is allow.
yes.
Let's allow it. Allow what you say, Natasha. You're not that superwoman. You
Yeah.
are not the
I
allow to
I
come
was
up.
the god. I thought I was a goddess. I ran the world. Beyonce had a song. We run the
Who
world.
run the world?
I
Girls.
thought,
Yes.
yeah, I thought I ran. Well, I was a girl when I ran the world, but God had other things in store
Exactly.
for me. So
Thank
But
you, Tamisha. Thank you so much.
thank you, Tamisha.
thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Okay. I believe God. Do you believe God? We believe God. We believe God. Remember, we will be back on Thankful Thursday, but we will not be here on Faithful Friday.
Because
Okay?
we flowing, baby. We flowing on Friday. We are flowing on
We flow,
Friday.
not in our
I
flesh,
love
but we
that. I love
flow.
that.
Have a blessed one.
Hey,
Winning
Tamisha said,
Bye.
Wednesday.
y'all got me up at 7. I didn't want to miss it. Oh, you have a blessed day
Aw.
as
Thank
well.
you. Big hugs. Big
Yes.
hugs. Come back
Yes.
tomorrow. Make it a normal thing. Set your alarm.
Yeah.
Have a
Look,
great one.
if Natasha did it, baby, trust and believe.
You
Yes.
can do it too.
You can
You
do
can do
it
it.
too. Get in the flow. Hey, have a great day, everybody.